everyone, and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show, where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. Every time I say blue collar, I think of that song. It goes, Blue Collar. I use it at the end of my video. I don't think I'm going to include that anymore. It just kind of came to me. One of those things. So we're going, my last episode, I hope you enjoyed it, blind Bordeaux tasting. And I thought it was interesting that the one that I thought was most approachable was only 13 bucks. You know, had good fruit, nice introductory into Bordeaux. And Chateau Sorbet, I think was the name of the wine. We're sticking with Old World on this episode. We're going to northwest Italy, way up there. It's called Piedmont. Some say Piemonte, Piedmont, however you want to say it. It's okay with me. We're in particular going to look at Nebbiolo. Nebbiolo has been compared in a lot to Burgundy. Some, you know, biggest difference between let's say Nebbiolo and Pinot Noir is the tannins. Nebbiolo has very high tannins, but it also has high acid. Back in the old days, you could not even touch a Barbaresco or Barolo, which are both Nebbiolo, 100% Nebbiolo, for 20 years. They would just, the acid would just burn your teeth and your tongue. And, sometimes I like that actually. I actually opened up a Barolo or Barbaresco for a friend of mine at a restaurant we went to, and he said, "Wow, you shouldn't have brought that. It's too young." You see, I like that sometimes. I know you probably do too. Sometimes we like that high acid. I don't know why, but it just hits the spot. So we're going to look at 3 different wines from this region. First one, had trouble spitting that one out. Why is that sometimes? Silvio Grosso Nebbiolo di Alba, which is an actual DOC inside of Langhe, which is the actual entire region around there, in which sits Alba, Asti, Barbaresco, Barolo. There you go. Kind of like the Columbia Valley of Washington. 2013, 100% Nebbiolo. Nebbiolo is definitely a food wine. This is not a wine you would drink just all by itself. So you millennials they're into cocktail wine, just sitting around, drinking it with your friends. This is probably not the way to go. This needs, well, it needs spaghetti with red sauce. It needs something like a big, like lamb, is actually lamb and Nebbiolo. Perfect. Just to give you some ideas. Let's see what we get on the nose. So this has a little bit of rusty element on the nose. Not a cherry fruit. It reminds me a little bit of cherry juice, actually. You know, like if you whipped out a Capri Sun cherry, that's kind of what it reminds me of. Lots of lavender coming, not lavender, excuse me, violets coming through. There's an interesting smell there. See, this is where I wish I had like somebody behind the camera. Could you smell this? Give me some. Trust me, it's not power of suggestion. Man, can't talk today. It's not power suggestion. It's just some people have smelled something recently, and then when they say it, you go, "That's what I'm smelling." Can't put my finger on it. There's a little bit of minerality coming through, like a little bit of baked earth coming through with some rocks thrown in. Let's see what we get on the palate. 15 bucks. I don't know if I mentioned that. Just what you'd expect out of a Nebbiolo. Bone dry, puckering up my mouth big time. Has huge amount of It reminds me of licking on, not totally rusty, but slightly rusty metal. You get that kind of rustiness coming through. Lots of violets, little bit of rose petal coming through on that. Very high in acid, high in acid. This is like rip your face off acid. I mean, it's like, I feel like I need to put the enamel, like go to the dentist and have him put some more enamel on my teeth. There's so much acid on there. A little bit of fruit in the middle, believe it or not, there is some fruit coming through. I get a little bit of cherry fruit coming through on the mid palate, but this needs a really good stinky cheese, powerful cheese. It needs lamb. It would be good with lamb, it really would. This is a baby though. I don't know if I would attack 2013. I don't know if I would recommend, unless you're really into high acid, which I am. I couldn't serve this to my guests. They would just, unless I had a whole bunch of guests that were into high acid wines. Interesting little bit of cola action right at the front of the mid palate, which I find very intriguing. $15, you know, it's okay. Not great. I'm going to go C on that. It's an average Nebbiolo. Let's move on. This is the Ettore Germano Langhe Nebbiolo 2012. $24. So like I said, Langhe is like the Columbia Valley of Piedmont. It is the, I mean, Piedmont is the region that it's in, but Langhe is the whole area around there. And smaller appellations, of course, exist in Langhe, the hills of Langhe. See what we get on the nose here. Kind of excited about this one. I've never tried this one before. This is real, like, reminds me of roasted meat marinated in cherry juice. A little bit of earth coming through. Very perfumed. There's like a really, I feel like I stepped into a little flower garden with maybe some violets and some roses and some lilacs. Yeah, and then you can smell, you know, you're in that flower garden, you can smell the earth underneath a little bit. Yeah. Cool nose. Let's see what we get on the palate. After I just ripped the enamel off my teeth with the last one. Much more going on with this one. There's actually fruit on this one. There's high acid, but it's not as as the other one. The lilacs and the violets come through big time. Right on the finish, I like that. A lot of cherry fruit, a little bit of cranberry action, definitely cranberry action going through, and lots of minerals. You know the amazing thing about these, I wish I had a white backdrop, but well, let me zoom in on this for you. Hopefully I can do this correctly. But just the color on this, maybe you can, let me get out of the way here. Look at the color, you almost can see through this stuff. That's where it reminds you a lot of Pinot Noir. Very powerful, but yet light colored, amazing. It always amazes me about Nebbiolo. Now, one thing I forgot to mention about Langhe is it only has to be 85% Nebbiolo, and there can be some other things. There can be some cab in this too, which is quite possible. So that's a little different rules when he gets outside of Barbaresco, Barolo, Alba, Asti, those areas. The rules change just a little bit, so this could have a little bit of cab in it, for sure. This is definitely rounder, more fleshy than the other one. The acid and the fruit kind of integrate really nicely. Actually kind of smooth. Now, being the sick and weird kind of twisted guy that I am, psychopath, sociopath that I am, not really, just kidding. I just watched on CNN, they said, if you like your coffee black, if you like bitter food, you might be a sociopath. Well, I like my coffee black, and I do like bitter food, but I do have a sweet tooth also, so I don't know. Maybe I'm not a sociopath. But I could, what I'm trying to get to is I could drink this by itself. I could sit and enjoy this, but you know, with pizza, this would be really good. It's fleshy enough, you know, and it'd be good with beef stew. It'd be good with spaghetti. It would be good with, I always like the, now they don't say spaghetti anymore. It's like it's, you know, pasta with red sauce. Ooh. Pasta with red sauce and some meatballs. That's spaghetti! So a lot of good things going on. It couldn't have too much cabinet. With that color, I'm not even, it could be 100% Nebbiolo. Not sure, didn't look it up, should have probably. Nice finish. I get a little bit of, just reminded me of plums just now. Same kind of plum thing coming through. Cherries. There's a little bit of tobacco. The red flowers come through big time on it, front to back. There's good minerals. Nice balance of acid and fruit. Yeah, I'm going to go A- on this wine. I think for 24 bucks, if you want to try a Nebbiolo, maybe with something else in it, this is a good place to start. Nice wine. Yeah, like I said, good balance of acid, fruit, minerals, nice seamless across the palate. You could drink this by itself. It has some complexity, some nice things going on with this wine. I really like it. Let's move on. 2011, Produttori del Barbaresco. This rolls in at $35. So this is from Barbaresco. There's also Barolo. Barolo's steeper, the vineyards are on steeper, more dramatic hillsides. So Barolo is considered the big muscle-bound of the Nebbiolos. This is 100% Nebbiolo. Barbaresco, a lot of times is considered to have more finesse, a little more feminine on the palate. Now I have tried Barbarescos that were pretty big and powerful. So it's not a hard and fast rule, but that's generally the wine speak. There you go. And they both lie in the Langhe region. There you go. And this rolls in, like I said, let me show. And Produttori is a classic producer in Barbaresco. Now, interesting, there's only like 3 vineyard areas in Barbaresco and like 11 in Barolo. So kind of cool, kind of sub-regions. There's like 3 in Barbaresco, 11 in Barolo. I don't know if that's changed recently. Things don't change a lot over there. Might have changed, I don't know. Make a comment if I'm wrong about that. I don't mind. I'm not perfect. Never claimed to be. Let's see what we get on the nose. See, now this has classic like lilacs and violets on the nose. I love it. Definitely leather. You know, maybe you took leather and just put a little bit of rust on it. Like I'm seriously getting cherries and cranberries. A little bit of tobacco coming through. This one's a little darker than the Langhe Nebbiolo, which is interesting. So yeah, Nebbiolo can be, you know, can be a little darker, but it's still light. You can see right through it. I mean, I can literally see the wine bottles on my tablecloth there through the wine. Let's see what we get on the palate. Did not expect that. That has a lot of fruit on it. lot of fruit. It kind of reminded me like somebody marinated some beef in plum sauce. Get a lot of plums out of that, which is really curious to me. Definitely violets and rose petal. It's kind of like somebody mashed up some violets and rose petals, threw a little plum, squirted some plum juice in there, and then plopped a pot roast on top and marinated it. That's what it reminds me of. Very fleshy. Not as much minerality as I'm used to. Good acidity, but very interesting. This one is actually pretty close to ready to drink right now, which is pretty amazing. A lot of people have accused Robert Parker of influencing winemakers to make their old world wines more fruit forward. This could be an example of that. But I mean, it's hardly fruit forward. Don't get me wrong, it's hardly a Napa Cab. It's hardly a Barossa Shiraz. I'm just saying for that region, this shows a lot more fruit than you're used to at such a young age. But this is drinking good right now. I mean, it is right out of the gate. Well, it's not right out of the gate, it's 11, so it's 7. Years old, excuse me. Somebody accused me. Funny story. So I'm in the store. Guy comes to me. He says, "I need wine for 80 people. I want half a bottle per person." I said, "So you want to see what? Maybe 120?" He goes, "Let me do the math. You do the wine." It's like, okay. I know that meant 40 bottles. I just wasn't thinking. I was thinking in reverse. I was having a dyslexic moment math-wise. Actually, my two best subjects in school were writing and math, except for geometry. I don't know, I just didn't like to memorize all those postulates and theorems and all that stuff. But the rest of math I was really good at, so that was kind of a slap in the face. But I took it good. I took it well. He was a customer. Actually, some sweet fruit coming through there, some sweet tannins on that. It finishes very grippy with a lot of minerality, but yeah, that's a tough one to grade because you're like, well, that's not really what I'm used to with Barbaresco, but yeah, but it's pretty good. It's very seamless, very well built, good minerality, good tannic structure, kind of smooth. I get that kind of plum, cherry, currant thing going on. A little bit of tobacco. I'm gonna have to go A- on that. I think it's a very good wine. Might not be typical Barbaresco that I'm used to, but it is drink. Now that being said, I have tasted some Barbarescos that have more fruit on it. Now I'm just gonna go straight up A. That's a great bottle of wine. 35 bucks. You want to try a Barbaresco. If you haven't gone to Old World yet and tried a Barbaresco from it, do the Produttore del Barbaresco, 35 bucks. Not a huge investment to try a really good wine. In fact, I'm going to drink a little bit right after the episode. I think that's a great wine. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.